With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at Meisterkhan.com or on YouTube under Meisterkhan Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Super excited. Today, we're going to talk about the movie, the upcoming movie, Locked In. I've got director Chase Dudley returning, and also returning, I've got actress Amber Dawn Fox. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Hello.
I think this is like three times,
her
right?
name because it sounds like a stage name, but that is her actual name.
I know, it's
it is
very
my
Hollywood.
real name. And
Very
I
Hollywood.
get that question everywhere I go.
Yeah. Amber
I
Dawn
wish I had three names in my name. I mean,
You
technically
don't have
I
a middle
do.
name?
I just don't
I mean,
use
I was
them.
going to say you don't have, some people don't have a middle name.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help.
I have a middle name. It's just it don't have that ring to
No,
it.
exactly.
I only
I'm a
use it
little
in
jealous
acting.
there.
I don't get called Amber Dawn Fox in life other than acting. I don't
I would
demand to be
make
called by
people
all
call
three
me
names or anything.
You
Yeah.
should make people call you that all the time. Just ignore them until they use the whole name.
Yeah, because you already have that assertive stare when you say something anyway. So all you have to do is just say it's Amber
What
Dawn
stare
Fox.
are you talking about, Chase?
That substitute teacher, like, I'm tired of the classroom being
That's right.
disruptive.
It's not disturbing at all.
Thank you.
That's how she got cast for Beast of the Field.
Yeah. Well, so last time we talked, which has been a while, you were filming. You were actually in the process of filming Locked In, but you're done filming, right? It's in post-production.
Oh man, yeah. We're done. The post-production was a little longer than we wanted to. Then we had to pick up some ADR. Don't really want to get into that. But it was a longer than expected post-production, but it all came together and it all worked out. And originally it was a hour and 47-minute movie. So we were like, this is way too long. So we had to snip 27 minutes off the movie, and now we have an hour and 20-minute long movie. The pacing it's so much better, but the acting was incredible. It's a really intense movie. And I'm really glad that Amber decided to do it, because when she read it, she was like, I'm not sure if this is for me. And I'm like, no, this is totally for you.
I loved the script, but it was like pushing it just that much too far for me. Which I'm willing to do almost anything. So that's saying a lot for this movie. It's very, very dark. It's very intense. I didn't cross any boundaries that I didn't want to cross. It was just pushing me farther than I ever had done as an actor.
You sure it didn't cross any boundaries? I called you with some questions and you hesitated before you said yes.
Trying to figure out how to answer this without saying too much. It was close. Let me put it that way. No, because my only I really only have one like dead set boundary that I won't do in film, and I didn't have to do any of that, so it worked out. I had to overcome some fears for this movie, that's for sure.
Right, that's what I was getting at.
Well, I didn't want to bring it up. I don't want to bring it up because it's I don't want to give anything away because I haven't seen the movie.
If y'all wondering what's that noise in the background, since we're live, that is my son. I am not I recently had a baby and he's eating dinner, so there's nothing foul play going on in here at all. I mean, I'm just saying, because we're talking.
No babies were
movies.
Injured in the filming of this podcast.
Right? Yeah, and you just hear this scream, like an obscene scream, and I just wanted to reassure not everybody.
Art imitates life, Chase.
Right.
So let's get, since it's been a while, let's go over it. Locked In. What's the plot? What's the movie about?
Well, Locked In is about two women on opposite ends of like two different backgrounds. Amber's character plays a very heavily religious, not extreme, but like her faith is very, very strong. And her captive cellmate is the exact opposite. And the dynamics between them two really worked out really well, because it was easy for them to engage in a conversation that doesn't seem forced.
Yeah.
And it's a film that really addresses human trafficking. And I've always wanted to do a movie that really touched on human trafficking, but like not, I don't know how to say. I wanted to do it different, like than some of the movies that have been done. This was more of a grounded film, and what he was doing is he was selling their content to the dark web of them, him torturing them.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dark.
It was very dark,
a little bit.
Yeah, so
it was so dark where it was our script supervisor. I'm sorry, I might have to go into another room.
Are you sure? He's okay.
Yes, he's okay. But let me. I'm gonna go into another room.
Oh, I've been chased out of many rooms by a screen,
right?
Baby. Yeah.
That's why I have my own little area in this corner of the garage over here where it's nice and quiet.
It's so funny because it's like they know, just instinctually, they know that you're trying.
Quiet until you have something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he hears me, it's like a whole different thing. Okay, so I went in my bedroom, and Amber, yeah, I totally need an area where I can go.
Yeah.
I had to create one. I understand.
Unfortunately, I would have one, but I have a reptile room, 2 of them, and yeah.
You've made some life choices that are causing you some issues.
No.
I mean, do you need 2 reptile rooms?
Yeah, I do. I love reptiles.
He does.
I do. I love reptiles, and I've always been fascinated with them since I was a kid. When I was little, I was a very socially awkward kid. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I didn't really talk very well. I had like a speech impediment. I had to take speech classes. So reptiles and watching movies was my thing. And
have you ever made a movie about a kid with a speech impediment that like raises reptiles?
No, I have not. Because I feel like that would be a very hard subject to do without like really being canceled. Yeah, so like, because I mean, if you shoot that the wrong way, there's your career.
Yeah, you have to be careful with it, but it could be good. That could be a heartwarming story.
It really could. I would do a drama on that. It just, the crazy thing is like I would have an idea one day and then completely another, and trying to figure out the right movie to shoot is really hard. Because I mean, like every day I would call Charlie and I'm like, dude, I just thought of this amazing idea. And he's like, so you want me to stop writing the one that you already want me to write? Or Just bookmark it.
That's right. Just write it down. We'll come back to it. Well, so what drew you to this one? What drew you to Locked In?
Because what drew me to Locked In was this stuff is really happening, and I just feel like there's no conversation about it. And when you talk to somebody about some of these things that are happening, no one wants to believe that something like this is happening, and it's just like it becomes like a taboo conversation that no one's really comfortable having. And it's like some of the biggest crimes that are happening right now with human trafficking and sex trafficking and I mean, just the corruption that we're seeing a lot in life is just no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we really address something if no one wants to admit that there's a problem? You know, and just in the 5 years alone of some of the things that we have seen with Jeffrey Epstein and it's no conversation, no headlines, nothing going on in the news, nothing. It's just like dead silent. And it's, 80,000, kids go missing every year. Missing cases are constantly going up to the roof. And it's just like, no one wants to have these conversations. I'm pretty sure a big part of that pie chart is going to human trafficking. And it's just, it's really frustrating because I have children and that haunts me. Every day, like I went against
something that I wasn't for. Like I didn't want to give my kids a cell phone because that's a whole nother Pandora's box. But I would like to know, where they are, or if something's going on in school. Like just so many things you got to worry about now that it's just a different age. That at least I know I can track them if I don't hear from them. Like I can ping their phone. So that's how it really came about. And then I was thinking about like people I know who are very talented. And after working on Beast of the Field, I thought I really need to work with Amber Dawn Fox again. She was really, really, I mean, she was so professional because I worked on a film before that, which was Payday. And although the film turned out really, really wonderful, that was by far the most stressful movie my wife and I ever had. It was so many casts that were very difficult to work with, and then even some of the crew that was very difficult to work with, and it was not a fun movie to make. Like me and my wife were just going to our hotel rooms, hugging it out, weeping. It was so stressful. Like I've never been on a movie where we were so hated, but like we done everything we can possible to make people feel accommodated. But one person that really kind of rallied the cast together and we got through it, and he kind of mediated, and I would never forget this, was Bishop Stevens.
Yeah.
He is such a class act, and after that we really got through it, and then like everybody started warming up, and then we got through it. But we were like on set because it was just so many things on that movie that just went wrong with Murphy's Law, because it all had to take place in all one day.
Right.
And in the course of those 14 days of shooting, you had severe thunderstorms, heavy rain. Then you had to go off and dry off the police cars. Then they painted the building behind that needed to look the same. And then you kind of had to light it there. It was so many different things. Like it was a headache. Like I was like, I am done filming movies after this movie. Like it was that stressful. And then finally whatever that is called, like the inspiration came back. It didn't take long. I took a break, and I really searched hard for people who are known to have a really good reputation. And Amber has always had phenomenal references, and everybody on that set.
I pay them very well to say that.
Well, to
say good things.
What'd she say?
I said I pay people very well to say good things about me.
I can say that. That's very low of you.
Well, so Amber, what drew you to the character for the movie? Because you said it's a difficult role. I mean, did you have to think that?
It was. I think what drew me most to the role is because of the subject matter. I wasn't opposed to portraying the subject matter at all. I just wanted to make sure it was done in a good way.
Right.
Because of what it was. And so my first thought with it being a horror movie was it was just going to be a slasher type film, So I was like, I don't know. But then I started reading the script, and it was so much more than that. It was such a good characterization between the two main women and what they're going through. And it kind of really focuses on their whole experience versus just, he's doing this and he's killing them. And okay, here's another one, So it really gets into what they're going through. And the thing that drew me to the character is, like he mentioned, her being religious, and she was very, very innocent going into the whole situation, and kind of how the situation changes her as a person really interested me a lot. That's what drew me to the character.
Yeah, she had a lot of questions before she said yes. I mean, she was just really, but I respected that. And I honestly think if it wasn't for the fact that we worked before, I think she probably would have declined the role. Am I fair to say that, Amber?
I don't know if I would have declined it. It would have probably taken me a little bit longer to say yes. But I mean, the script was so good as far as the character too. Like it was intriguing, even though it was kind of further than what I thought I would ever do as an actor.
Yeah,
but, definitely helped. It definitely did help that we had worked together. Like I did still have a few questions, but I was already leaning toward I'm probably going to do this as long as nothing crazy. He doesn't answer anything crazy.
No, that's right. No, that was good because I mean, working with Amber from Beast of the Field, which was shot in 2018, and we shot that in a hurricane. And we were all getting soaked, but everybody was so good mood, spirited and good mood. And then locked in, it was super, super cold. And they had very light clothes, like they were inducted in their pajamas. And that's pretty much what they wore in the movie. And it was so cold. Like I was
pajamas is putting it nicely, but okay.
It was super cold. I mean, like I went and had PA run and get them heat blankets and stuff because I was just so bad because she looked like Rose from Titanic when she was about ready to throw Leonardo DiCaprio back in the water, and she was just. I'm like, oh my god! And then I made a big boo boo. I did not. Hello. Oh, sorry.
You're still there.
I had to reject the call, and I was like, oh. I told everybody. Well, I didn't tell anybody that the podcast was taking place, but no, it was so weird because I did not read the contract, which I should have. My wife was so mad at me because when we were getting all of everything prepped for the movie, Shanna was like, "Do you want us to put hay in here?" And I was like, yeah, that would be so great because I was thinking about getting rid of the mud. Little did I know, I did not read that Amber is allergic to hay.
Oh, yeah, that might have been good to know.
Yeah, it really was. So my wife comes back and her jaws is to the floor. And she's like, honey, Amber is allergic to hay. And I was like, who the hell is allergic to hay?
What's it do though? Does it like give you like an asthma or is it a skin reaction?
Well, here's the funny part. So like I knew that I was allergic to hay, but it has never been like a huge problem. I've taken my kids to like farms and stuff when they were younger, and I would get like a little sniffle here and there and a little bit of a cough, and it would be fine. So when he came to me and told me there was gonna be hay, I was like, oh no, it'll be fine. Well, I've never actually laid and rolled around in hay for days on end, apparently. So I didn't know what would happen until then. It wasn't, I mean, I'm not like severely allergic. I didn't like, swell up or have asthma attacks or anything like that, thank goodness. But I was I think at one point my eyes were probably bloodshot red and I was sneezing a lot, coughing a lot. There's actually one scene, I don't know if Chase notices, there's one scene in the movie and you can actually hear how congested I am sounding. And it sounds so much more congested than the rest of the movie.
Well, you just seem upset.
Just like something I noticed.
There was a time where she was like, I need a couple minutes. And, it was like 5 minutes went back and we were like, hey, where's Amber? So we go to the back, and I'm sorry to put this out here, but we go to the back and Amber's just hurling. And I'm like, oh my God, we are already.
You've killed Amber.
Yeah, we're right. I'm like, oh man, we're about to shut down. We're going to really lose a lot of time because we were we wrapped early a day before because Nalia came all the way from Las Vegas and she had jet lag and she was just like super drugged and like she was like the next day she was like, can I go home? I'm so tired. I didn't sleep well. And we're like, I'm sure we can move some things around. And then the next day that happened with Amber and I'm like, oh God, what are we gonna do? But I mean, it was cool. Amber was like, no, we're good. And then she just kind of got this weird, like burst of energy. And she's just like, I'm looking on the ground to see if she took anything. Like, I just never see Amber jacked. Like, because on
I had taken allergy medicine, Dayquil. I don't even know what else. Sudafed. So much that you probably shouldn't take together. I was just like in between scenes, like chugging it down.
Whatever gets you through, I guess.
The cool thing about this movie, though, opposed to working with her in Beast of the Field, she was super professional, but she was quiet, like she was reserved. This movie, I seen the real Amber, like relaxed, like loved being on set. She was so like happy, like I've never seen her so joyful. But that was the thing about this movie is everybody has such a vibe and everybody has such a connection. Yes. I've never felt instinct with the entire cast like that, where when we wrapped, like everybody was like teary-eyed and everybody like it was like nobody wanted to leave that moment of what we created. We knew we had something special, and I have yet to ever had that feeling on a film, and this was a movie I've gotten that experience, and it was really amazing.
And like having that experience, I immediately got inspired to write and come up with another story to get back in the game. But 2022, it was a lot of bumps on me getting my new movie out. But Locked In, of course, the premiere was really nice, and we had an online festival, the Shock Fest, that came about, and that was a really interesting, weird experience where you're literally in the Matrix and you're like going and checking out, like going to chat rooms, and the way they set it up, I've never seen a virtual reality film festival before.
Yeah.
And that was different. And we have quite a few festivals slated for this year, so I'm really excited. This is really an amazing journey so far, and I hope that it continues to elevate.
Yeah, I think it sounds terrific. I can't wait to watch it. And you had some, I mean, you had some heavy hitters in that cast.
Yeah, I did. Amber always completely never makes herself seem like she's bigger than what she is, but I'm like, don't sell yourself short, Amber.
That's right.
But I've been following her since like 2016, 2017, and it was really nice to really work with her on Locked In, because that's the trust level. I can tell she trusted me a lot more. She always took great direction from Beast of the Field, but this one was different. Like it was like some synergy going, where a lot of people were like, you guys really work well together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I've never had that relationship with an actress before like that, to where she had some really amazing suggestions and I had some suggestions, but we were pushing each other. Right. And it was easily the best experience that I had. And I continue to hope to have relationships like that, where the trust level is there, because now I see why Martin Scorsese worked with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. When you really find somebody you work with and they're so good like that, I see why you kind of get addicted to working with that person, because then you're like, where else can we go with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amber, did you get to kick any butt?
Possibly. You'll have to watch the movie. I can't really say too much. I mean, you would be surprised at where the character ends up versus where she starts. We'll put it that way. I don't really want to give too much away, but I wouldn't say she kicked as much butt as, Clarissa on Beast of the Field. She wasn't quite that crazy.
Yeah.
But,
Clarissa. Yeah, that is also a very funny, because you're very mellow, calm, to the point, sassy, and like it's almost like impossible to tell when you're being sarcastic, because there was a few times on Beast of the Field where I said something and I could have sworn she was sarcastic with me, and I was like, I'm sitting there, was that sarcastic?
You figure it out.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, she would be really good. Like Amber would be an amazing poker player. And another experience, Robert Mukes was a very funny experience. He was such a mellow guy. And then like when I'm talking to him and giving like direction for, he's like, and I'm like, is he brushing me off or is he listening? Or but he was super chilled. Like I mean, he can just look at you and you're just like, would just shut up. And I'm like, man, it was really intimidating directing him.
Yeah, I bet.
I'll be like, hey Robert, he'll just look at me and I'm like, you're gonna go to the table and you're gonna pick up Amber and he was it was something that he did, and I'm gonna link it here.
Okay.
He did that. He's never done a movie where he had so much dialogue, and usually actors love this.
Right.
Robert, not so much. He was times where he was getting like frustrated because he has so much dialogue, and he'll just like, am I allowed to cuss? Because I had to.
Oh yeah, you cuss.
Well, he's like, God damn it, Chase. Damn it, Chase. And I'm like, What? It's just great lines. He's gonna
He
really.
totally threw me off when he did it in the middle of the take. Like they called action. He's in the middle of his dialogue and he looks down and he goes, "Damn it, Chase!" And I swear, like I stopped and looked over at Chase, and then was like, "Oh, we're still filming."
I was just as confused as everybody else because my wife was looking at me like, "Why is he saying this?" I'm like, "I don't know."
He wanted you to have so much fun in the editing room. That's what it was.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm going to release some of that stuff eventually, but
Oh, I'm sure.
and it was times where he called me Chasey, and yeah, he's like Chasey, and I'm like, okay, Chasey.
Yeah, you're not going to correct him though.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I practically come to his hip. I was pretty
He's a big dude.
Yeah, like all he had to do is do the Undertaker's big boot to me, you know. But I mean, once he really worked with Ember, he got really into his element and he got really comfortable. And it was like Ember really brought out like really the levelness of, because usually Robert, he never really had much lines in the movies. He never had to. A lot of times when people book him, it's because it's intimidating stare. Like he can, like, you can sit there and say the funniest joke in the world and he'll just look at you. But that was the thing I loved about Robert. But when it came to like when he needed to give like a death stare, and oh man, his acting ability was so good. And he was so scary in this movie.
He was. My favorite thing is he would be so intense and creepy, and I would really be into it. Like I was like legit scared, and then you call cut, and he'd immediately like lose and be like, "Are you okay? I didn't hurt you, did I?"
Yeah, no, he was super sincere, and like he really cared about like what was going on and stuff. Like he wanted to, you know, he questioned me like to make sure I had a game plan. He definitely asked some really amazing questions, like, so what are we doing here? And I can tell that he was making sure that I did my homework. So it was really, really amazing working with Robert Mukes and Lynn Lowry. It was very intimidating for sure, because I never worked with those caliber actors before, and you know they're on sets on and off all day. So you know that was the intimidating thing working with Amber, Lynn, and Robert Muse. They're constantly on and off sets, and I'm on set like once a year, if even.
You have a lot more work to do on one film than we do.
Yeah,
we go film and then we can move on to the next one.
That's right.
Yeah. But I love how Amber always comes out with her journalist pen. She's like, "Chase, I have a question," and like every time she does it, the pen goes. All right, so I'm doing this, right? And in scene 2, you want me to wear this and that, and it's like it's perfect journalism.
Yeah.
Indie films are fun because there's not somebody, you know, like on the big films, there's somebody in charge of wardrobe, and they know what you're supposed to wear, when you're supposed to wear it, and they'll have it ready for you to go in the trailer, and all you got to do is change.
Fortunately,
on indie films, you plan it out in advance, and then you just kind of got to keep it right here and be like, okay, we're filming this. Okay. Beast of the Field was weird because Clarissa changed her clothes so many times in the middle of the forest.
I know, right?
She was like the only one, because that's just how she was as a person.
Yeah.
She like, you know, into herself. So keeping that straight. This one wasn't hard. She was held captive. She was the same thing the whole time.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we did have a benefit with this movie, as you just pointed out, with this film, though, we actually had quite the amazing script supervisor, Anna Wooten. She looks like Anna for Frozen. She is absolutely amazing. She looks like a toddler. I mean, like she's like 19, but she has the youngest looking face. And I always mess with it because a lot of times she couldn't read if I'm being serious or joking, and I'm like, "Why did you do that?" She's like, "That's my job," and I'm like, "I'm kidding," but you know, like, but it, you know, there was a scene where we brought in an actress, Amy Thompson, and it was such an emotional scene, and it was so intense. Anna Wooten started crying, like, and I was like, we all just kind of was like, "Oh my god!" And she was gone for like 20 minutes, and we're like, did she quit? But that let me know that how people are going to react to this when, you know, the script supervisor who read the script can literally react emotionally based off of what she saw and how real the acting was. Like I said, it was definitely the darkest thing I've ever done. And, you know, after after we shot that movie, I like, man, I watched comedies and Christmas movies all after that movie because it was so heavy. And
I had
you know,
nightmares for 2 weeks after I got home. I would literally
Really?
like, yes, honest to God. It was crazy. It's the first time that's ever happened to me from filming, but like it was so like intense that I held on to it for a while because like my husband's like, "Are you okay?" Usually once
yes,
I'm out, but I was like I would get up and like have to, and I'd feel like someone was holding me down on the bed in the middle of the night. It was creepy.
Oh, that's
It
awful.
only lasted 2 weeks. Thank goodness.
Robert is so low key speaking, but when he yells, it's like a lion. It's like it's like his voice, like you can feel it go through you. And it was times where he'll say something to her, and it's just like, man, like that is so deep. Like he has a very deep voice. I didn't know he was a former pro basketball player.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
that either.
Yeah. I mean, he posts videos where he played basketball all the time. And then I looked when I did his like biography, like in the movie, and I read that he used to play pro basketball. And I'm like, that is insane. Like, he's such a humble person. He don't even mention stuff like that. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I've known
So
him for years.
he's fairly athletic, being as big as he is.
He is.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty great.
I was watching videos where he was just taking shots and he was shooting outside the perimeter and he was like hitting them, like, you know, because, you know, Shaquille O'Neal can't shoot a lick off a free throw, but he was shooting from the free throw line like he was just not nailing them in.
I kind of like to see a basketball movie, but with him in his normal character role.
Oh, yeah. All right. You have to want to win, okay? You're going to go up. Listen, brother. Right. He, like,
do the laugh. You gotta do the laugh, though.
Yeah, I'm about to. He does like
Okay.
something so hip, man. Like, man, he gets very excited. He'll be like, man, I seen that scene, bro. Man, brother, I'll tell you what, it was, oh man, it was really good. And he has like a toothpick, and then like he'll leave it in, and he's like a mobster, you know, like, you know who Robert
awesome.
Hughes looked like, Ember? He
No.
looks like Mickey Rourke.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Watch Iron Man 2. Robert Mukes, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, Mickey Rourke can look kind of frightening at times.
Oh God,
Yeah,
man!
definitely.
You know, it's crazy because like Robert Mukes, sometimes he mess with me on set, like I will laugh and he'll just and he'll laugh, but he'll smile and then go real serious real quick. I'm like, I mean, and I was like, I overthink things, and I'm like, this man doesn't like me. But no, he's super cool, man. I caught him sleeping in the car, like he was on the break, and he's like mouth wide open. And I took a picture, and I was about to post on social media, and he's like, "Don't share that." And to this day, I still don't know if that was a joke.
I wouldn't risk it.
You want to find out?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would risk
Post it and tag him. You'll find out.
I posted it 7 months later when I was in Kentucky.
Oh, you did.
Back in LA.
So he couldn't hurt you. It's okay.
He didn't.
Yeah, but he seems like the type that would remember.
No, he would.
Oh,
Yeah. You need to keep distance when you see. I remember you
posted that photo. Boy, I'm gonna fuck you up, brother.
That is so spot on. That's hilarious.
What was the premiere like? Did you get to see it in a theater?
Yes, it was on a really, really big screen. Seeing Amber on there, and like the thing with this movie compared to any other movie I'd done, like Charlie's cinematography was so good. It looked like a studio made movie. Because like all of my other films, you can tell it's independent, but this one looks like it was greenlit by like a production company. It elevated from the last few movies I made to this one. It's like a huge leap for mankind. And then like the amazing acting with it makes it really even more. Like the production value to this movie was just insane because we had a drone operator that works for ESPN, William Harden, and he really put a stamp on that. And those scenes, I don't want to go too much into detail, but there's some very effective shots. Some of it is in the trailer. That's not all I will say about that, because sometimes I get too excited and I say things I
You
shouldn't.
say too much, Chase.
Yeah.
No, I
Amber's
definitely
so
agreed
good.
though.
Amber's
We
like the
said
Kevin
it.
Father.
We said it on set, like we felt it even when we were in the middle of filming. Like we knew that there was something different about this one. And since the trailer has came out and the premiere and having some people have seen it at the online film festival, like this film has like more interest than like anyone I've been a part of. So many people are like ready for it to come out, have been asking me about it nonstop. Do you have a release date? Do you
we're
have a
ready.
release date? I know Chase has already gotten interest on like the whole distribution side, which I know he can't talk about, but like there's already
Yeah,
interest coming
it's
in
been
before he was
quite a
even
bit.
ready.
I've never had distribution come to me the way they have. The only other time I can think of is my film Payday. I had a lot of interest coming to, but this one, like, we actually got some really respectable distributors coming to me for, and I'm like, but I really want to have a festival run with this movie because I really want Amber to shine. I really want Robert Meeks to shine. I really want Charlie to shine for making such an incredible script and a really amazing DP skills. There was just so much good acting. I really felt like if we just went straight to streaming, I really feel like it would deprive from the
Now
experience.
the festival rounds, that's fun. You might as well
It
have
is.
some fun.
Yeah.
I love
absolutely.
networking and meeting people and then seeing Amber and scaring her 17 times while she's there.
He does that. He does do that.
Who
But
did?
yeah, I've
Yeah,
even
she's like
had like
twice
some of
on the
my
set of
industry
Locked In.
friends from.
Oh,
Go ahead.
very nice. Yeah, you
Yep.
I think we
had
started talking
some
the
of
same
the.
I got it
people
all
in
on
the industry.
Facebook. I got it all on Facebook. I could probably make a 10-minute short film of me just scaring Amber.
You could.
And you would think with her being in The Walking Dead, she would kind of just watch to make sure nothing's creeping up on her.
Well,
But
but
no.
they move really slow in The Walking Dead.
That's right. That is true.
You've got
And
time
my
to
character
relax.
was already. My character just stayed up in the hospital. Like she wasn't even down there with the walker.
Right.
She didn't have to deal with that.
That's exactly right. And she had a gun.
I was just hanging out in my
But-
police costume because that's what you
But
do
being
in the
that
middle
you
of the.
have short legs, though, you can't really run. Like
That's probably
if
why they
something
left.
wasn't-
That's probably why they left me upstairs.
That's right.
They were like, "Don't go down there. You won't make it."
Who did the soundtrack?
Rocky Gray, former Evanescence, and I remember seeing Rocky Gray play at Ear Ecstasy in Louisville in 2003 when Evanescence came, and I remember meeting him. He don't remember, but I was like, I met you. I shook your hand, and I was such a fan of Evanescence.
Oh yeah, they're great.
And then I've seen him on Facebook, and I'm like, this can't be like really him. And then I proposed to him that I wanted to use him, and he was like, yeah, definitely. And he was pretty excited. And I actually seen that he scored for independent films quite a bit, and it was like meant to be, because what he did with the score really sets the tone. I mean, the acting was phenomenal, the shots were phenomenal, but having his music and his stamp to it, like, makes it really feels like a Hostel / Saw movie in tone. You really get that vibe when you watch it, and that's such an inspiration for me because I'm such a big fan of James Wan, and I love what he did with Saw. Not that I purposely tried to mimic the movie or anything, but it's just you feel it, you know.
Yeah. So
would you second that, Amber, or 1.5?
Oh yeah, definitely. All of it together just made it like so much. I don't want to say better than anything I've done, but like the production level is definitely like way up there compared to anything else I've done on the independent level.
I love it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
sequel then, right? Like
There's
Amber
definitely
comes
a
back in the sequel
sequel
to kick butt.
I don't know. We
There's-
don't know what the plot is yet. Well, he knows. I don't know what the plot is yet.
Yeah,
There is a sequel? I was
He
kidding.
did announce that there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah,
There's
I
just no plot
announced
for
a
it.
month ago there's going to be a sequel. Charlie and I are working on a plot line. I have not approached Amber for that role, so you made it kind of awkward. But
You don't
Amber,
even
we'd
know
like
if my
to
character
formally
survives the
offer you
first
the
one
role.
yet. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens at the end of the first one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to do me a favor. If during the sequel, you have got to get Mark Roberts a line. Have to.
Oh, Mark Roberts.
Yeah,
He was an extra in the.
I
the
know.
Yeah. He was so like such a nice guy. He was just like, "Thank you, man. Thank you for the opportunity." I'm like, "Thank you. You drove like 12 hours."
Oh yeah. Mark's the best.
Like
he's the
and
best.
he's thanking me, and I'm like, "No, thank you." Like I've never had that many people show up as extras, and most of the people knew Amber, so I can't even take the credit. Like, that's how amazing Amber is, that she had people travel.
I made a post and people just started messaging me, "Can you send me the address?" And you told me to let anybody know. And then these people were driving in from different states. And I figured it was going to be people that lived in the area too.
See, I think this is my idea for Mark. So you can have this one for free. Okay. He comes in like he's going to be the hero, says some type of heroic line, instantly dies. Because then he couldn't mess anything up. Be too quick.
I like it.
It'd be like the comic relief.
I would definitely keep that in mind.
he's going to be like, "What did you get me into?" I was like, "Just say the
line."
line."
You didn't show up to the podcast, so this is what happens.
That's what happens.
I've always wanted to do a death scene in a movie where somebody gets killed kind of stupidly, and I've always wanted to do that since I don't know if you ever seen Bruce Willis movie The Jackal.
Oh yeah, I love The Jackal.
I love the scene where he was eating Korean food and he just broke into that guy's house, and the guy was wanting to go out on a date with him, and he's watching TV, and then his mugshot appears on the screen, and then the guy looks at the mugshot, and then he looks at Bruce Willis, and he's just eating. And I just love how calmly he goes into his bag and hurry up and whips out the gun and pop, pop, pop. That was epic. Like, he did not panic. He just calmly goes into his bag. I can see Amber doing that.
There you go. Ooh, if you could kill Mark, that would be
fun. I'd do it.
Yeah, my dream is fulfilled.
It would make his day too.
Oh, it would. I'm telling him, I pitched.
I'm surprised Amber has not killed anyone. If you look at her shot, like if I see her on Snap, which you were in something like that.
I was on Snap, not me, okay. But I.
Never mind.
I did one of the recreation scenes for Snapped. It wasn't really me.
Yet. But
I did play one of the women that killed her husband, though.
You did it's even in the trailer, so this is not even a spoiler, but you did an amazing death stare to Robert Meeks in the trailer.
Oh yeah.
And
those are the kind of characters I actually play more often, are the characters like Clarissa or the intense characters like that. So that was actually one of the things that drew me to this character in the first place, was that she was so innocent at the beginning, and I rarely get cast as an innocent person.
I want to cast you in a movie, like in a comedy, but you're kind of more like Matthew Broderick in The Cable Guy. Because you're funny when you're not trying to be funny. Like, that's your reply.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would love to do a movie like that with you, where we do something different, like a comedy.
Yeah.
I was just going to suggest that's what you needed to do next, because
I want to do a comedy, but I want to do it right. But I want it to be like more of a drama comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fully flat out do a comedy, which is weird because I'm such a goofball. But it's weird. I don't know. But I wanted to do a movie about like people who don't get the clue that like they're weird. That to me
people
was
that think they're normal, but they're not normal.
Right. That to me was the magic about The Cable Guy with Ben Stiller. To me, he did such a good job with that, and Jim Carrey was perfect for that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an underrated movie.
They're very underrated. That's like one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. I mean, I love that. Like, Ace Ventura is the #1 favorite Jim Carrey movie, and then I would say Dumb and Dumber. Then I will put Cable Guy right there.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Maybe even Liar Liar. I don't know. Liar Liar might be higher. I don't know. It's hard.
Too.
But
Jim
Carrey,
he does.
Yeah, but Cable Guy, to me, I liked it because it was very different. It was like one of those movies where you kind of seen Jim Carrey almost serious but funny. Like, he was more serious type, but it was just funny because it was awkward. Like, like if it was you you will be very uncomfortable. Like if somebody's just
Well, it
in your house,
was. It was a very uncomfortable movie.
It really is.
Yeah, it was good. It was really
it
so.
was like
So
what
locked
would you do?
in. Do you have an idea? Like, are you moving toward a date to get it released, or are you just kind of
It's
waiting
really
to see what
hard
happens?
because we submitted to so many festivals.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get it out by this year, but it's just really hard because if it has such a good festival run and you're making networks and do you just pull the plug if you have great momentum? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I that's something I've been really at war with myself is like, when is the right time? Because like you're like fall would be ideal.
I mean, for me, like this week, I'm free. You know, you could get it out.
Tomorrow, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Well, releasing a movie in January, with the exception of Megan, it's usually never ideal. But
Not a good idea. No,
I think if I did release it, it also depends on like when you coordinate with the distributions and when they're thinking too.
I was saying sometimes you get better distribution. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, like sometimes they'll find it at a film festival and you'll get an even better offer towards distribution than what if you would have accepted it in the first place.
Right, and I plan to go to the AFM with this as well this year. And email some sales agents and try to set up some meetings when I'm there. So that way I'm not there and then hoping to speak to somebody. I'm trying to set all of that up before. Right. I'm just keeping so many options open. I just don't want to like premature ejaculate release with no strategy, like, because I think with this type of film, I think you can do so well. And that's the thing I'm really keeping into. And I don't want to just put it out there and then like hope for the best. Like, the word of mouth is really, really incredible. If it's one thing I have learned about some of the most successful films, it's always the word of mouth. Like, look at James Cameron movies. His movies do so good because people keep going back to see it because it has legs. Like he's never had an insane opening weekend, but
they last forever.
I know because his movies are quality based and he knows what he's doing. Like, I mean, he's about to be the first filmmaker in film history to have 3 films in the $2 billion club.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he will be 3 of 5 movies that are in the 2 billion club is done by him. Avatar 2 hasn't quite made 2 billion, but it's at 1.7 billion.
It's nuts.
It's gonna make 2 billion.
And he's making like 10 more.
I don't know if he's gonna make 10 more. He at least got 2 in him. I mean, because 13 years it took him to make a sequel, and
I know I may not be around for the last one.
I know this sounds selfish for me. I really hope to see more original content from him, rather than be tied into so many sequels, because I love my favorite action movie, comedy movie, is True Lies.
True, that's a great film.
It's a great movie. It's the best action comedy ever. I don't care what nobody says. There's not a better movie than True Lies when it comes to action comedy. It had the right action, it had the right amount of comedy. Jamie Lee Curtis was, amazing in that movie. I love James, what is his name? Arnold? Tom Arnold. There we go. I haven't seen him in so much, but I loved him in that movie.
He was on an episode of The Rookie Feds that I watched last night. It's the first time I'd seen him in forever. I was like, it's Tom Arnold.
I love Tom Arnold. See, Amber, that's another type of like comedy you would do really, really well. Because like when that dude is like, I'm in it, I got my leg, and he's just like, just come in the damn house. He really was the comic relief in that movie. And that movie has such a great balance with action. Arnold killing people, like he killed like 90 people in that movie. I mean, they just don't make movies like that no more.
No, that's true. That's true. Don't you think that Locked In would be a really good Blu-ray to put out? Because you could put like all the behind the scenes stuff.
I could, because we got so much coverage and so much behind the scene footage, and that the making of documentary, and that was the one thing I was super happy to do in this movie that I've never gotten to do before. I'd never gotten to have time in a movie to do a making of and get the interviews and stuff like that. Because Beasts of the Field, we were getting rained on like constantly. We were lucky to finish the film.
You're just ready to be done.
Yeah. All right, everybody's gonna get dry.
Well, there's some movies you just have to survive.
Right. If we ever did a sequel to Beasts of the Field, Amber, the sequel should be called The Way of Water.
It fits. It does fit. But yeah, I agree. I think that you would have so much content for a Blu-ray release eventually.
I really think so. And you know, that movie, I think it's gonna. I really think it's gonna do super well, because it ties into the slasher type, but to me, it's a little bit more than a slasher. I feel like it has a really good story to it. Not saying that slashers don't, but it's not just a blood and guts movie. It really has an amazing story to it, and there's substance there with this movie.
Right. I think it's good because it has for both crowds. Like the people that like slashers will still love it. That like the gory horror type, and then the kind of the story will like it also. I mean, I do see it as being like a cult classic, and people wanting to have Blu-ray. Because
this movie is so gory
now. It's like cult classic stuff.
Yeah, this movie is so gory. I had a question, like, did we go too far? Because I mean, like it right. I mean, like I looked at my wife and I'm like, am I a monster? Like because there's some stuff in there. I can't give away details. Yeah. There's a lot in there that you're like,
did you have to go see a therapist after the movie?
Yeah, because like some of the stuff that we did in this movie, I never thought in a million years that we would ever do.
Yeah.
But I knew if it was kind of like all or nothing. I felt like you could not do this type of movie and not go there. Like I kind of felt like the same crossword when Tarantino filmed Django Unchained. He really was like, do I go all or nothing? And they were like, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it.
That's what makes a cult classic.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
So there's no water down with this movie. This movie is very brutal. It's very like upfront. Like, it's really amazing acting. If you're attached to Amber in this movie and you're really going to be emotional, and it's an emotional ride because Amber, she goes through the ringer. It's all kinds of emotions in here. And like, I feel bad because every time I ask to work with Amber, I asked her to do some very drastic things.
I always end up coming home very bruised up from your movies, Chase.
I know, right? I gotta get a waiver from
you. You need him to write a comic.
I know. Let's do something calm next time, okay?
Yeah. See, and that's the funny thing. Amber's character was so funny in Beasts of the Field from her delivery. It came more of a comedy than it was supposed to, because Gregory Blair was already socially awkward in the movie, like his character, and then Amber was super over the top. Like it turned into a horror comedy, but I think it worked though. But Beasts of the Field, like I think a lot of people missed the landing of what we were going for. But it was I felt there was I think it was a misunderstood movie, because I think the performances were so good. I think a lot of people didn't really get the ending, and I felt that I thought it was understandable, but
it was. I think it was too, but you're never gonna please everybody though. Like,
oh, absolutely, but it was some people that wrote reviews and like
I know.
You could tell they didn't get it, and it's funny because of Ty Guberman, who from My Indie Productions, he messaged me and he chuckled and he's like, they didn't get the movie.
It happens. They didn't get our character. So we actually, I came to Chase when we were talking about the character of Clarissa, and we came up with the fact of her being over the top because that is who she is. And there's so many people out there saying, this actor is so over the top. She has no idea what she's doing. And I'm just like,
that was the point.
The choice.
Well, when you think reality TV show, it's always over the
Always.
top dramatic.
Yep.
Always. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, think of reality TV. And that was Amber's character in this movie. And it's like, I don't know how many times I had to go and defend, like, no, Amber's a great actress. Watch her in this, and this. And I'm like, that she did the job. And a lot of people are like, she was obnoxious and annoying. I'm like, that was the point.
That was the point.
Like, do you not watch reality shows? Like, I don't know. I mean, but she did such a great job. Like, because every time I watch the movie, I crack up. Like, I laugh a lot because I know Amber don't talk like the way Clarissa talked in the movie.
Right.
Like, there was a scene where she told the character, she's like, "Stop being a bitch." And I'm like, so like, Amber doesn't even talk like that. Like, but it was so funny because
It's awesome.
it was believable. But you're like, man, you don't recognize Amber in that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Amber
just
was
good
Fun.
acting.
I
a
love playing
spoiled
characters
brat.
that are like complete opposite of me, though. That's the
Yeah,
fun
she
part.
was a spoiled brat in that movie.
That's awesome.
Love
So
it.
this movie, Locked In,
She's the
Can't
exact
wait.
opposite.
yeah,
love
you
her.
got to get this out there. I know you got to take your time and do it right, but this
Yeah,
week,
you do
next
because
week.
like I mean, because one thing with Beast of the Field just really sucked. COVID happened. A lot of the festivals that we were slated to be in.
Yeah, I mean,
got
nobody
canceled.
anticipated that happening.
Yeah.
And like it went from like supposed to be released the next year, and then it got delayed, and then we ended up releasing it 3 years after the factory shot.
It got out there,
Yeah.
though. That's all that matters. Hey, I've
That's
done
all
stuff
that
that will
matters.
ever
What?
come
That's
out.
right.
It
so.
is my most watched movie. It had over 3 million minutes streamed,
That's awesome.
and that's nothing to sneeze
You're going to
at.
break it. Locked In's going to break it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think
For
so.
sure.
I really do, because when I watch this movie, I feel every beat of it. Like, I mean, it's so like, man, I'm like, damn, I can't believe we did that. Like, I looked at my wife. I'm so happy, but like, I couldn't have done it without my wife. I mean, she was 7 months pregnant. Bossing people around. Like, we did not go over scenes. She's like, we're cutting it close. My
Well,
wife.
we talked about that last time we talked. She had the hard job.
Oh, yeah.
She does,
definitely.
because she makes me look good. Like, when people are like, you're a good director, I'm like, no, I have a good assistant that makes me look good. It's not me. Because she coordinates with everything. She's like such an OCD perfectionist. Like, she plans everything super. She'd be like even when she's practicing over what she's gonna say or do, she's like over and over and over again. I'm like, I think you got it. Like,
She was on top of everything. I mean, it ran so smooth on the set of Locked In. That was probably one of the smoothest shoots I've ever done in the indie world, because she was just like, she knew what was going on, and even when things had to change last minute, she was like right on it.
There was a couple of times where I wanted to shoot something and we were losing time, and I don't like to think of myself as arrogant, but I felt like an arrogant asshole. But she corrected it, and we saved so much time if I just would have listened to her. But we got the scene because she pulled producer like, we're doing it. Like, because we were losing time. I was nervous. I was freaking out because Lynn Lowry's just sitting in the chair rolling around, and I'm like, she's gonna lose her shit because like, she's been on like George Romero sets. She's worked with Stanley Kubrick. She worked with some of the best, and here she is working with me. And I try to make sure, and I hope I can get away with saying this, but I try not to live up to the stereotype of always being late, being black, but we were running behind. And I was so nervous that she was just going to be like, I'm not going to work on another Chase production.
That's such a normal thing on set, though. Like, you're always running behind. It's very rare that you're actually ahead of schedule, from my experience.
I mean, but Sam saved the day, and she does that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
If you were ahead of schedule, wouldn't you be worried that you missed something?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, if we were ahead of schedule, I would be like, let's go back and shoot some more of this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Time's money, and if we are ahead of schedule, because Amber knows I always ask for more takes. I'm like, I really like that, but can we do it like that? Because Amber will make a certain facial expression, and then I'd be like, Amber, let's try it this way because you just did something. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be one thing. Like, and Amber was saying that, and I don't think she realized she did that until I reminded her. I'm like, are you shutting me up? Or no. Because I'd be talking, she'd be like, yeah.
It's really
How
me
long-
processing, but I guess it does sound like I'm just blowing people off.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's really
just-
me being
yeah.
like,
Yeah. How long was this shoot?
It was 8 days.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah.
Well, with Charlie, as much as he set up, and like, I mean, and the good thing was that we had an advantage of with this location, thanks to Shanna Curtis. She is such a sweetheart. She looks like Kristen Bell from
From
Frozen.
Veronica Mars?
Yeah,
from Frozen.
Yeah.
Oh.
She looked. I have to send you a picture. She looks dead like her in the face. She gets it all the time.
I gotta see her.
But she is so nice. She was so helpful. When I worked at Walmart warehouse, she was the HR department, and I made a post because in 2021 I went back once movies started opening. You know, I left and went back to doing filmmaking, and she actually quit to go to real estate. And I posted, I was like, I need a really creepy barn, and she's like, I can ask my dad. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. And Steve, he is such a great man. And I see where she got who she is as a person. And, you know, like, he was like, he had this Elvis swagger. He was like, all right, now, Chase, now when you want to, and I was thinking of Elvis, like
he really does.
Yeah, he did. But he was so handy. He built the table and he built all kinds of stuff for us. He installed the lights. And he was doing this in record time. And I'm like, this man, he moves slow, but he like mannerisms.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
That's terrific. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so excited to see the movie. We're going to show it here at the studio. You know, we'll invite everybody over. We'll make a big
that would be great. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
It'll be fun.
I'd love to meet you in person because I feel like I know you.
I know. We got to do this live at some point. We're not that far apart.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm in West Virginia. That's not that far.
Well,
you know,
I can tell that you said it. I'm in West Virginia.
Just hop on a plane right there.
Oh, I drive to you.
Yeah.
West Virginia is
like 7 hours for me.
I tell you what, if you ever, there you go. If you ever need,
I was in West Virginia not long ago.
Big old building, I'm your guy.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, we're making a sequel to Locked In.
There you go. Let me know. We can do it right here in the building.
But it was really good, and that worked out great because I could smell dinner at the table, and I'm like, my stomach's eating itself.
It's time to go. It's time to go. So okay, so real quick before we wrap up, Amber, anything that anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
So on the opposite end of the spectrum from Locked In, there is a crazy comedy called Boo Boo the Fool that I was in. We just had the cast and crew premiere here in Wilmington the other day. It's when you say comedy, like, and the way Chase wants me to play comedy, this is like over the top crazy comedy. So not like me. But it had a very good reception with the people in Wilmington.
That's really good.
I'm so excited. I haven't heard the exact date, but I did see that it's supposed to start streaming sometime in March.
I loved
that's kind of the next one.
I loved you in A Christmas Proposal.
Yeah, same filmmaker as A Christmas Proposal. Some of the same actors too. Like, it's great.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing I love about you as an actress. You really commit to whatever it is you're doing. Because before you even did a comedy, I was like, is she even funny? Like,
he really wants you to do that.
I would be funny, honestly. Like, I was scared to death to do comedy. Kind of like you said, you're not ready to do a comedy movie yet because you're not sure if you could do it. That's how I felt too.
Yeah,
right.
You just gotta dive in.
I'm going to do it because I keep telling myself I'm going to, and I keep putting it off. I'm going to.
Well, you're funny anyway, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
But that's what I'm afraid of, because a lot of times when you think that would be easy to do, that might not be easy to make people laugh. I can make people laugh, but I'm not an actor.
Yeah, That's right. That's right.
Well, and comedy has a lot to do with the script too. I mean, and it's a lot to do with the pacing and the timing of the jokes, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is. Now we did do some improv on the comedies I've worked on, Christmas Proposal and Boo Boo the Fool. It's mostly scripted, but then he'll also have us do a take where we just do whatever, and a lot of that ends up in there too. Which was another thing that terrified me when I first started was improv, because I'm like,
Improv.
you write it down, I'll say it, but you want me to come up with it? That's not my job.
Yeah, improv.
Right.
Yeah.
I need a right.
So, Amber, where can we find you on social media?
Social media on a Facebook and Instagram, it's at Amber Dawn Fox, and TikTok and Twitter is at Amber Dawn Fox _ because someone took my name.
Very good. Wow. Shame.
Chase,
where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook. It's where I'm mostly active. I got a Chase Dudley Directors page, and you can add me on my page, Chase Dudley. I'm on Instagram, not nowhere near as much as Facebook. Facebook, I'm like, it's I don't know.
Hey, you're old school.
Yeah. Facebook is for old people. That's what my kids say.
I have a tweet. I have a tweeter. I have a Twitter. I haven't tweeted anything since like last June. I don't know. Twitter for me.
Twitter's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I have it. I don't like the
format. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But I got paranoid and I just kind of clicked on Twitter because I felt like people were following me. But that's a bad start.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Well, thank you guys so much. And next time we do this, we need to do it after the film comes out.
Absolutely.
It'd be like a trilogy. That'll be our third.
But you didn't ask me if I'm working on anything.
Before, during, after.
You didn't ask me if I'm working on anything, Michael.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got distracted. Chase, anything you're working on that we can keep an eye on?
Yes, I am working on a movie called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And it is a project that I've been trying to get off the ground since last year. We had a few hiccups there and there, but we are going to be shooting this summer. Very excited about this movie. This movie addresses sexual abuse in the household, because majority of women who are sexually abused, it comes from someone they know, someone close to them. And it is a movie where she takes matters into her own hands. So it is an amazing psychological thriller, and the tone that we're going for, this is something we're going to pitch to Lifetime.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this. Charlie Brady wrote such an amazing script. It is so juicy.
I know we need to get Charlie on it some.
Yeah, Charlie, he is a really great guy. Really great guy. I will definitely put you two in touch.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And definitely we got to do the third one.
Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
All right.
Amber, I love your sweater. Amber, I love your sweater. You look like
that is a nice red sweater. How fun was that? Absolutely love Chase and Amber. They always bring the goods. So I'm so happy to have them back on. Keep your eyes and ears out for Locked In. I think it is going to be a heck of a ride. I'm a little nervous because I struggle with the gore, so I'll be watching like this probably. But I'm very excited to see Amber in action. And I think one of the best things about both of them is they're so excited for this movie. You can tell they really believe in it. They really had a good time making it. And that doesn't always happen. You always have actors, directors, producers come out and promote their film, but they rarely do it with so much enthusiasm. You can really tell that they just had a blast making it. So can't wait. Keep your eyes out. Locked In. If you want to help us out, if you've enjoyed the nonsense and the fun that we have on Too Opinionated, and you say, hey, these guys aren't too bad, I'd like to help them out. There's a couple ways you can do that. If you're watching on YouTube, Meisterkhan Pod, just hit subscribe. That really does help us a ton. If you're listening, same thing. Wherever you're listening at, subscribe. That'll help us out. you can find we are up to today. We released episode 508. We have been doing this. We just passed our 4th year anniversary, 508 episodes. That's we're pretty proud of that. So you can see all of those 508, see or hear on our website, Meisterkhan.com. That'll also let you know if we're doing anything in studio, like if we're filming the sequel to Locked In here at the studio, we'll let you know. You know, if we're doing it, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, whatever we have going on, that'll be on the website, Meisterkhan.com. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.